Cambridge Muslim College, training the next generation of Muslim thinkers.
It was Friday in the port city of Guangzhou in southern China. Of the 4 mosques in this populous city, I chose to visit the Abi Waqqas Mosque for Friday prayers, where the Prophet's cousin and companion, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, was allegedly buried. The mosque, a leafy complex off a busy road in the city centre, packed over 2,000 people that Friday. A Hajj-like experience. There were Africans, Arabs, South Asians, tourists from East Asia, Uyghurs, Turks, and a mixture of northern Chinese Muslim immigrants and local Guangdong Muslims. A Senegalese lady who had been living in China showed me around and walked with me to the prayer hall. Our only common language was Mandarin. That Islam and Muslims have been present in China since the 7th century is often met with surprise. According to a 2009 Pew census, China's Muslim population currently stands at 21 million, 5 times more than the Muslims living in Europe, and more than the population of Muslims in Malaysia. However, it remains a somewhat unknown entity to Muslims and non-Muslims in other parts of the world, and even to the non-Muslim Chinese population. Although historians disagree on whether Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas died in China, there is no doubt of his legacy in the country. Records indicate that an official envoy, which may have included Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, was sent to meet the Tang Emperor Guangzhou during the time of the Caliph Uthman in the 7th century. At the Abi Waqqas Mosque, the pathway towards his grave was crowded with men, women and children. Chinese incense perfumed the air, and singing can be heard from the little green structure that housed the tomb. The language of the singing was not instantly recognizable to me. Only after some inquiry did I find out it was Persian, a nod to the syncretism that had been taking place in China since Arab and Persian traders settled centuries ago. The syncretic nature of Islam has enabled the religion to find a home in vastly different cultures, and China is no exception. One of the names of Islam in Chinese is Qingzhenjiao, which translates as the pure and real religion. Yisalanjiao, a transliteration of Islam, only came later. In fact, halal food in Chinese is still referred to as Qingzhen food. A plaque on the entrance of the oldest mosque in Guangzhou, the Huaisheng Mosque, displays the words Jiao Chong Xi Yu, which roughly translates as the religion which flourished from the West. The historical harmony between Islamic and Chinese identities is also evident in the architecture of these older mosques. The Huaisheng Mosque in Guangzhou, built over 1,000 years ago, is one of the oldest mosques in the world. The mosque bears semblance to any other Chinese temple, were it not for its stark minaret and absence of imagery. Yet this distinctively Chinese space, complete with prayer halls for men and women, ablution areas, and even a moon sighting tower, feels as Islamic as it is Chinese. It seems a little out of character with this tradition that some newer mosques in China have departed from this architectural symbiosis, instead opting for more generic modern Middle Eastern styles. One of the walls of the Huaisheng Mosque complex was covered with engraved tablets. These appeared to be records of properties gifted to the mosque, some as old as from the 18th century. The Imam of the mosque later told me that those properties formed the awqaf, or religious endowment for the mosque, and that until this day the mosque is sustained by rental income from its endowment assets. Historically, awqaf played a significant economic, religious, and social role in many Muslim societies. Mosques, schools, libraries, and hospitals were created and endowed by Muslims to ensure the continuity and survival of these institutions. From the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem to the Qarawiyyin University in Fez, Waqf gave longevity to some of the most famous landmarks of Islamic civilization. From the 19th century onwards, however, the institution of Waqf was assaulted in the Muslim world. Egypt, Turkey, and Syria are some salient examples where the nationalization of Waqf took place in the 20th century. Chinese mosques also saw the diminishing and even disappearance of their awqaf during the Cultural Revolution due to a countrywide confiscation of private property. The Huaisheng Mosque in Guangzhou was fortunate to be able to recover some losses thanks to clear documentation. Standing in front of those tablets made me reflect on the work we are undertaking at Cambridge Muslim College. Thousands of miles apart, perhaps there are more similarities between this Chinese mosque and our British Muslim institution than first meets the eye. It certainly also issues a clarion call for the revival and establishment of Waqf as a protection and development of our institutions, be they in the UK or in China.
Cambridge Muslim College, training the next generation of Muslim thinkers.